Live life by choice, not requirement. There's only one way to get there from here. Be the resource your community needs. Welcome to the Relax, I Got This podcast, and start crushing it with your tribe with host Robin McCoy. Here's your host.
Hi, I'm Robin McCoy, Texas Realtor and Tribe Builder. Welcome to Relax, I Got This, Crushing It With Your Tribe, where we share real talk about building business and life relationships. As a Texas Realtor, I'm in a unique position to meet and know so many different people in a wide range of industries. These people are my tribe, and I leverage them not only to help my business, but to help theirs as well. And today I have Mr. Anthony Wright with Safe Hands Insurance.
How are you doing today?
I am doing so great. I appreciate you being here. I know that you've been on the OBBM network before, so I appreciate you coming back.
I have. It was excellent, and when you requested, I have to show up.
I love that. Well, let me tell you a little bit more about Anthony. Anthony is a Dallas native and graduate of Northwood University. He started Safe Hands Insurance, a Christian-based independent insurance brokerage company in 2012 with a vision of doing insurance differently based on a motto of helping you be a good steward of all your blessings. Anthony is married with one son and has two joy of his life granddaughters.
Absolutely.
Anthony is highly respected resource on Medicare, individual health care, life insurance, and group health insurance. With over 10 years of experience in the industry, he shares his knowledge and expertise in speaking engagements throughout Texas. Anthony believes in servant leadership, and he accomplishes this by educating and consulting with his clients to offer a fully customized approach to meet their needs, which focuses on the products that are best for them and for the protection of their families. Anthony is licensed in Texas, Oklahoma, Louisiana, and Illinois, and is appointed with over 60 insurance carriers. So you got us covered.
Yes, ma'am. I think we do.
We're in safe hands.
You're in safe hands. Absolutely.
Well, great. Well, tell me how did you get where you are? So tell me a little bit how insurance started. You started your business a number of years ago. What got you here?
Well, it's interesting. I think I always say, again, being a Christian, he puts you where you need to be. And I had never really thought about insurance as a career because I don't think people really understand how it works, one, and how you actually are compensated. And so I never really thought about insurance as a career, but, life happens and had some changes, and we moved to Illinois for a short period, and I actually got an opportunity to start in the insurance industry back about 2009. And so from there, I think, again, in just the blessing of I started in Medicare, and no matter what I've added to my portfolio, I've still focused on that Medicare because that really was my passion area, because I saw what happened with my mother. And when she went into Medicare, I wasn't in the insurance industry.
Yeah.
I didn't know, the things that I know today, but I'd go to her house, I'd see the red, white, and blue book from Medicare, and I assumed she knew it because she was in it. But what we all find is that's not the truth.
Yeah. And
for the Medicare beneficiary, and especially for their families. And so, we do health insurance and life insurance and group, but probably 70% of what we do is Medicare.
70%.
Because that is still the passion area, and that's still where I see the greatest amount of misunderstanding.
And I would, just from my own experience and my experience with you is, yeah. I think that's right. And I, just for a little, history, so I requested that Anthony sit down and talk with me and my 85-year-old mother. I just wanted to get her ducks in a row.
Absolutely.
Right? And I wanted to make sure that what she had, because I don't know, again, realtor.
Right. All too
not
often,
Medicare expert.
Right. We're doing our own career.
Confusing, and they make it confusing. I think it's an intention, because I don't know you could be that confusing
accidentally,
unintentionally.
Right. Absolutely. Right. Yeah, you got Part A, Part B of Medicare, then you have Plan A, Plan B, Plan C, D, all the way to N. Yeah. I'm agreeing with you a little bit there.
They mean to. But you have been a blessing not only to my mother and my family and my husband's mother and that side of my family, just making sure and seeing if we need anything.
Absolutely. I think that's one of the things that differentiates us. First, we're a Christian-based company, but the thing about what we do, it's not about selling a product.
Right.
Because our focus is, and it's interestingly, on the way here, got a call from a client, and she's wanting me to talk with her sister and brother-in-law. And she's saying, they have things going wrong. And so our focus is, well, let's find out what you're doing today, first and foremost, how it's working, if there are any opportunities there, and if there's anything we can do to make it better. But in some cases, like in your families, some things are they're the way they should be.
Yeah.
And we just need the confidence to know that we're doing the right thing. And so we provide that thumbs up and help educate you. This is why this is a better path for you or mom or dad right now. And if there's something that can change in the future, here's how you might go about doing those things.
Yeah, and and that's exactly right. And that is kind of really what I wanted to kind of talk about today, and how you built, your tribe. I'm a part of your tribe as much as you're a part of mine.
Absolutely.
And how did you, 10 years ago or whatever, about, you said, I think 2010, how did you build that up? As a realtor, everybody knows a realtor. Everybody's got it, how do you build that tribe to build your business?
Well, I think it's, one, it is, to me, I think being there. It's being present and helping people understand what you do. It's not selling. It is just helping people understand what you do. For me, what has made me, I'm going to air quote, successful is networking. And so I show up. I go to networking events, and it's not the high dollar ones where you have to pay a bunch of fees per se, but it's where you can go and share with other business owners. One of the hard things about when you go solopreneur, is that
You're solo.
You're solo, right? You lose all the connections, the water. I tell people the Monday morning water cooler talk, right? And so it's good to have those people who are doing some of the same things you're doing and attempting to do, but that can complement you. And it's great having those resources, knowing the realtor, knowing the banker. And because what I'm finding is those are the things my clients come to me for. Yeah, they come to me for Medicare, but then they also say, well, Anthony, do you know a realtor? Do you know a financial planner? Because they trust me. And so as an extension, they're going to trust the person that I refer to them.
Well, that's what I found too. I mean, we were talking this morning in a meeting, and I want to be the person that you call for everything.
Absolutely.
Everything. Do you need a roofer? Do you need a new garage door? I had somebody call me, should I go to Kroger or Target for a little plant for a gift for somebody? I'm like,
okay.
Well, I would never think of either of those, but okay. And she ended up at Home Depot and got the cutest little thing. But she called me for that. Somebody else called me about how do I change my name now that I'm married? I'm like, well, I never did that, so I don't know. But I want you to call me for everything. And that's the same thing, right? Because they do trust you. He knows everybody. He's trustworthy. So I can trust him when he tells me that here's the realtor or the financial planner I should talk to.
Absolutely. That is definitely one of the things that you go for. And so, again, I built a lot of it by networking and by education, seminars, libraries, different places. And so that's how I've been blessed and fortunate in, associations, American Businesswomen's Association. So things like that have helped me over the years, brick by brick, create Safe Hands Insurance Services.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, we're going to take a short break, and we'll be back with Anthony and Relax, I Got This, crushing it with your tribe.
We'll be right back with Relax, I Got This. The Relax, I Got This podcast is on the OBBM network and available on Spotify, iHeart, and wherever you're listening to podcasts right now. Be right back.
Be the leader you know you can be. Build your professional network and access education that takes you where you want to go. We are women of all ages and backgrounds. You deserve national recognition and opportunities to build relationships with people you want to work and grow with. Hit the ground running with the Charisma chapter of the American Businesswomen's Association. Meetings each month from 6 to 8:30 p.m. on the fourth Tuesday in Farmers Branch, Texas, and online. Come with us. Experience ABWA for yourself. Go to charisma.abwa.org to learn more.
My name is Alfred Walker. and I own a DFW Farmers Insurance Agency serving Texas and Oklahoma. And I wrote the book on business growth for entrepreneurs like you, literally. I've been where you are today, and preparing you for the future is exactly why we've become the small business trusted insurance advisor for almost 10 years. As a father, husband, community member, and business owner, I've built my business on referrals and clients that return over and over again. Business owners trust the Alfred Walker Farmers Insurance Agency. Isn't it time you give me a call? Don't wonder. Know you're prepared for life and business today. Call the Alfred Walker Farmers Insurance Agency at 972-438-3557. That's 972-438-3557.
It's time to power on with Dr. Dean. Dr. Dean Family Chiropractic has been serving Irving for 20 years, correcting whiplash, sciatica, headaches, and low back pain because when the pressure's off, the power is on. Most people don't realize that a healthy spine equals a healthy nervous system. Just how many ways can that impact your life every day? Sports injuries, motor vehicle accidents, even the wrong shoes at work or play. The power is on at Dr. Dean Family Chiropractic in Irving, Texas. Call 972-258-6220. That's 972-258-6220. Dr. Dean's got your back.
Be the leader you know you can be. Build your professional network and access education that takes you where you want to go. We are women of all ages and backgrounds. You deserve national recognition and opportunities to build relationships with people you want to work and grow with. Hit the ground running with the Charisma chapter of the American Business Women's Association. Meetings each month from 6 to 8:30 p.m. on the fourth Tuesday in Farmers Branch, Texas, and online. Come with us. Experience ABWA for yourself. Go to charisma.abwa.org to learn more.
Welcome back to Relax, I Got This, Crushing It With Your Tribe. I'm Robin McCoy, where we share real talk about building business and life relationships. And I'm here with Anthony Wright of Safe Hands Insurance.
Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here. Having a great time with you.
Good. So let's dive deep into the dreaded Medicare.
Well, Medicare is not dreaded.
I think people fear it.
Yes.
Because
yes.
But so tell me why people fear Medicare. What do you think it is that's the scariest thing about it?
Well, I think
coming from
honestly, what you mentioned before is one of the things, is that it does seem complicated. And I'm sure it is, especially if I don't do that every day. Mm-hmm. And, not to toot our own horns, but that's why we say come to us, because we do this every day. And so we've seen when it's done right, and we've seen when it's done wrong. And, again, I've been doing this since 2009. So and I started actually doing in-home appointments, 2 or 3 in-home appointments a day, wow. 300 days a year. And so I've seen a bit.
Yeah,
and
you've been down the road,
right.
Not your first rodeo, all those things.
Absolutely. And so, that's what we focus on, is trying to help in those areas where people oftentimes make the mistakes. One common mistake is I got a call from a young lady last week about her father. He's 66. He did enroll in Medicare A and B at the very least, thank goodness. He doesn't have a prescription drug plan. He doesn't have a supplement, advantage, or nothing else to help reduce his financial exposure. And she was commenting about going to the pharmacy and paying high dollars for medications. And so my question, well, doesn't he have a drug plan? Well, no. And of course, what we just say before.
Yeah.
The children don't know all of these things that the parent theoretically is supposed to know about Medicare, and many of our seniors still don't understand when they're supposed to act and what exactly are they supposed to do to minimize their financial exposure. That's really what we focus on, as we call it, your financial exposure, right? Because Medicare is going to do what Medicare is going to do,
right? But
Medicare never is designed to do everything. And so what we try to do is help you figure out, based on how you want to go down this Medicare journey, how can you minimize your financial exposure, minimize those from a medical standpoint, but also from prescription drugs, because that could be a really big issue for families.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Right.
That's tough.
And so those are the things we see, the issues where they are they didn't enroll in time, or maybe they decided that they wanted to retire. Had a doctor, actually, he wasn't retiring, but he turned 65, and again, this is a doctor. Everyone told him, you have to enroll in Medicare. He called me up, says, Anthony, I got my Medicare card, I'm ready to enroll in Medicare. And my question to him, well, are you going to continue to work? And he said, yes. And I said, well, you might want to get off Medicare, because if you're highly compensated, you're subject to what's called IRMA, Income-Related Monthly Adjustment.
Darn that IRMA.
And IRMA's not a nice person, but it only affects highly compensated Medicare beneficiaries. And so my advice to him was, don't get into Medicare right now. Go back to your group insurance plan, tell them you want in, cancel your Medicare, and let's take this conversation 2 to 3 years down the road when you're actually ready to retire.
Interesting.
And it doesn't mean the IRMA's going to go away 2 years from him, but we're going to kick this can down the road because he doesn't need to experience it.
He doesn't need to do it right now.
That's his point. Absolutely.
Well, let's use me as an example.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm going to disclose, show myself. I'm 58 this year. And I, what do I do? When am I supposed to get in line?
Well, normally, I go to my network meetings and I'll say, hey, I'm Anthony Wright. I'm looking for 64-and-a-half-year-old females to talk about Medicare, of course, right? But you get 30 seconds. You got to be memorable, right?
Yeah.
So
that's funny.
That's probably about the right time. That 64-year-old, because what happens the moment you turn 64, your mailbox is going to explode, your cell phone, your email, people might even show up at your door, right? And you're going to get bombarded with all this information. And so, we love it at that point that they would come to us and we'd start that conversation, because we're going to start planning this transition. Because one, should you even transition, right? It might not be the best, because we're seeing people work longer now. And they're working and they have creditable insurance coverage at their employer. And that's what people don't understand too often, right? They think, I got to enroll when I'm 65 or I'm going to get penalized. Well, not if you have creditable coverage. If you have coverage from your employer, coverage at your spouse's employer, then you don't necessarily need to enroll in Medicare.
Okay.
And again, we're seeing more people work longer, and so there's probably a good number of people that really shouldn't be enrolling in Medicare. But that's not a one-size-fits-all.
Right.
Because with the cost of insurance, well, maybe I'm the spouse, the older spouse, right? And
True.
Right. Yes. And
True statement.
True statement. Right. But they're charging $400 a month for me to be on my spouse's plan. And now we've just doubled the deductible and doubled the max out of pocket, because now we have a family plan instead of an individual plan. So that person might be better off going to Medicare.
So just like everything else, it's situational.
It's situational.
It's looking at the math.
Yes.
And figuring it out. It's not a one-size-fits-all.
Absolutely.
And that's what I think is the other thing, right? Oh, I just need to go do that.
Right.
And it's not a matter of being smart or not smart. It's, I was told at 65, you go sign up for Medicare.
Absolutely. And that's, we talk about the consultative approach.
Yeah.
That what separates us, I believe, is that we're going to listen. We're going to come up with a strategy, and we're going to execute that strategy. It's not about you calling an 800 number, and if I can't sell you in 30 minutes, now I've lost the opportunity, or inviting someone to your house and they know if they don't sell you before they leave, and so they never want to leave. So we're going to be working with you for months, and in some cases I work with clients for over a year to get them ready, because it wasn't the right time, or unfortunately maybe they started the process and didn't enroll when they should have, or enrolled in something they shouldn't have enrolled in. And so we have to kind of work them out of that over time.
And because there's enrollment periods, there's times you can do things and times you can't do things. And so it's knowing what that is.
Absolutely. Speaking of, it's October, right? October 15th. Every year starts the annual enrollment period for Medicare. And see, even saying that, it's not all of Medicare. It's those that are in a Medicare Advantage plan or those that are in a prescription drug plan. And so that's even a little confusing
Yeah.
to some because they assume that every year they have to review this or that, and it's not always the case. And so, again, everything is in situation by situation, and I tell people it's great to listen to friends, family, and coworkers, but they probably got their information from friends, family, and coworkers, and
It's like the game of telephone.
there you go, right? and so, finding that trusted advisor that you can, talk to and that has your best interest and your family's best interest at heart, and it's not about trying to make a commission.
That's right. Well, let's noodle on that for just a minute. And we're going to go ahead and take a short break. We'll be back to Relax, I Got This, Crushing It with Your Tribe, and Anthony Wright.
Still doing your own audio and video media?
If you're creating your own video series, TV, podcasts, and ad files, you're not focused on your business.
Your community needs you to keep being awesome, while professionals take care of audio and video details.
Bet you didn't know your show could have a studio audience with Q&A.
And applause.
Take your TV and podcast show to the next level. Focus on managing the business end of your inner celebrity.
Get over here to the OBBN Network studios at Grace Point Media in Farmers Branch.
Discover 3 state-of-the-art television studios,
2 podcast studios equipped for multiple participants and audience guests.
OBBM Network Studios at Grace Point Media is the highest level of set direction, audio-video production quality, network programming, and broadcasting for your business.
Your message could be in front of people you want to reach right here in DFW and beyond.
Call 214-714-0495 to talk through your ideas now. 214-714-0495. It's time to make media work for you. When it's time to perform, it's too late to practice. First Safety Training in DFW supports local communities and churches through firearms training and nonviolent dispute resolution training. Understand the laws related to weapons and deadly force, handgun use and safety, and proper storage practices. A trained and licensed gun-carrying citizen will react quicker to protect themselves and others. Call 214-808-9757 to schedule your introduction to handguns, license to carry, active shooter, church security, and survival training. Be prepared for the best possible outcome of a weaponized attack. Make sure the law is on your side in the event deadly force is necessary. Call 214-808-9757 and work with former law enforcement trainers and range officers. Meet all municipal, county, state, and federal regulations. Understand your gun and how to care for it properly. Call First Safety Training at 214-808-9757 today.
Welcome back to Relax, I Got This, Crushing It with Your Tribe. I'm Robin McCoy, and we are here with Anthony Wright and Safe Hands Insurance. And we had a question during the break from one of our audience members. Let's kind of address that. So about a fine if you don't sign up. Tell me about that.
Well, Medicare has late enrollment penalties, and there are 2 in particular. There's one for the Part B of Medicare, medical insurance, and that would happen if a person went 12 months without having credible coverage. So for every 12 months you go without having credible coverage when you should have had at least been eligible for Medicare, right? And so if I go 2 years and I'm 67, but I'm employed and I have great insurance from my employer, well, when I go to Medicare, I won't be penalized because I've had credible medical benefits and probably you've had credible drug benefits. Now, when it comes to drug coverage, we have a 63-day window after your initial eligibility. So once I turn 65, I have a 7-month eligibility period. At the end of that, I get 63 days. If I'm not in drug coverage by then, and again, I don't have credible drug coverage, then I'm going to be penalized when I come to the table. And that could be a year later, that could be 3 or 4 years later. And, the worst case I've seen, I had a client, she was in her 80s, and she was responsible for about a $35 a month penalty because she didn't get drug coverage when she was first eligible. Her doctor kind of enabled her and gave her medications free. And when she didn't get them, she just didn't take them or broke them in half. And so finally she gets down in, having a conversation with Anthony, and I got to tell you the truth and help you figure out what's going wrong. And so we had to have that conversation. And so you're paying a penalty every month, and then you're paying a premium for a drug plan, and then you still go to the pharmacy and buy your drugs. And so,
Wow.
yeah, so it can be.
This is why you need a consultant for the things you don't know anything about.
I
I'm
agree.
just going to put that out there on the table.
I agree. And
Because
that's why you shouldn't go it alone.
You shouldn't go it alone, and we don't have to.
No, because
The
there's
thing
no
is,
charge.
There's, I mean, we call Anthony, and then and if he can't, if he helps you, he guides you, and if you're already good, he sends you on your way saying you're already good.
Mm-hmm.
But then what I want to do is make sure somebody that's not good comes to you so that you can help them and get them good.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I think that's kind of what, the tribe building and the trust is, that I trust Robin, so I know she's not going to send me down the wrong road when I recommend Anthony at Safe Hands to get yourself on your Medicare.
Absolutely. And you've referred people to me, and we've helped them, and I.
Marcia was eternally grateful. She hugged me.
Yes, and I don't give names, but
I do.
You do.
She's my friend. I can do that. She's your client. She's my friend.
But that is the important thing. We love referrals. Probably 90+% of my business comes from referrals, and so that is our preferred method because, again, if it's someone and you want to help them and do the best for them, and you think we can, then we're going to do everything in our power to help them. And again, it's not about what commission can we make out of them. It is really about how do we help these people solve whatever issue they have, from an insurance standpoint within our sphere of influence. And if we can't do it, how do we connect them with the people and services that can?
Right. So you've talked a lot about networking, and I'm just going to throw this out there because we're both very strong members of the American Business Women's Association, and that's where I met you.
Yes, I am.
And that's where I met you.
Absolutely.
So tell me about that. How did you end up with ABWA?
Well, networking, right?
Right.
And of course, the Laura Merlando was a part of one of my networking groups, and I'd always hear about the American Business Women's Association. We're having a luncheon, and we're having a function monthly, and so a year you're hearing, you should come. And so I came to one meeting, and I came to another meeting, and I came to another meeting, and so it just kind of grew from there. And one of the things that she mentions is kind of, why did you come and why did you stay?
Yeah.
Right. And so I came because I know it's kind of unique for a man to be in a large environment like that full of ladies, but a lot of my business is, unfortunately, because men don't take as good care of themselves, a lot of my clients are ladies.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And again,
and
to
we
the
live
64 and a half,
longer. We just
right?
live longer.
So when I get the 64 and a half year old here for a consultation, she's going to bring the guy with her. So, right? So
she makes most of the decisions
right,
for this
absolutely.
stuff anyway.
So I got an opportunity there to be in that environment to learn how to better serve. And over the years, I've gotten an essential MBA, some great relationships, and eventually I got some clients. But it wasn't about going there trying to figure out how to sell the group. It was learning how to be more of service to that particular profile of client.
Yeah, and that, I'm always going to tout ABWA, but that is kind of when I got there. At first it was, I need business.
Yeah.
Then you get there and you go, oh, there's so much more to it.
Absolutely.
And I think a lot of times when we network, whether it's with ABWA or something else, you have to adapt. What is that organization looking for from you, the member?
Absolutely.
Are we looking for a consultant, or do we need an insurance guy? Right? However they run their group.
Absolutely.
But at the end of the day, it all comes down to being of service. And how can I help you?
That is, 1 Peter 4:10, using our gifts as a manifold blessing of, the grace of God. So that's how we got our business name, Safe Hands Insurance Services. And so that's what we focus on. It's like, how can we be of service? And, I tell people, I'm going to do what's right for you, and he's going to take care of me. And I haven't missed many meals, and if you saw me, you could see I could lose an LB or two here on the stomach, but It's working because we're doing the things the right way.
Well, in a couple of things that we've talked about at Keller Williams, we talk about coming from contribution and making the decision to do the next right thing, whatever that may be.
Absolutely.
We make the next right thing, or the decision for the next right thing. So you do all the insurance. I don't want anybody to go, well, you can only help me with Medicare and I'm 22. No, you can help
Health insurance,
all of
individual health insurance, the marketplace, subsidies. We have some alternative insurance products for people that are not eligible for subsidies. But I will say real quickly, with the new laws that were put in place by this administration, the subsidies are higher, the credits are bigger, and people are qualifying at incomes higher than they ever did before. So even if they thought last year or 2 years ago you couldn't get it, they really should look at it again.
We're seeing that also in the real estate industry. A minute ago you couldn't afford a house and now you can.
Right.
So the important thing with that comment is really just talk to somebody. Don't make assumptions on, again, what your Uncle Fred said. Because Uncle Fred...
Friends, family, and coworkers, right?
They don't always know everything. So what is one question you wish I would have asked you that maybe I didn't?
What do I do in my spare time?
What do you do in your spare time, Anthony?
Well, I love international travel.
Yes, because he's gone a lot.
Yeah.
Not really. I shouldn't say that. We're trying to, he's always helpful. He's there for his clients.
I am helpful, but sometimes we need to take a break.
Sure.
And so I do love travel, international especially, and love to fish. And in addition to the American Businesswomen's Association, I was blessed through the American Businesswomen's Association, a connection there. I'm on the board of a nonprofit that's called Journey of Hope Grief Support Center. And so what they do is we support children and families who've lost a loved one.
Oh, my goodness.
And so I'm really proud of that.
That's awesome. I didn't know that about you. See, I'm learning things about you. See, I didn't ask the right questions.
Always.
So tell me how we can find you online. How do we find Anthony Wright in Safe Hands?
You can get Safe Hands Insurance online, of course, at www.safehandsins.com. You can call us 972-332-4263, or of course at the website you can always ask for a quote. But again, we don't do outbound calls, so if you would love our assistance, there is no charge, but we do need you to reach out to us.
We need to make the first move.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you, Anthony, so much for joining us today. I really appreciate it. We'll have all of that contact information that he said on our show notes. Again, he's with Safe Hands Insurance, and he's a Medicare expert and serves all the other insurance products, I guess. Is that the right word?
That'll suffice.
That'll do?
That'll
do. Well, my name is Robin McCoy. As a Texas realtor, I have the unique opportunity to meet great people in a wide range of industries. If I can help you with any of your real estate needs, or if you need the services of those in my tribe, please reach out. Again, check out those show notes for Anthony and Safe Hands, and who you're in business with matters. Thanks for dropping in. I'm Robin McCoy, Texas Realtor, and come back and hear us again on Relax, I Got This, Crushing It with Your Tribe.
You've been listening to the Relax, I Got This podcast with Robin McCoy. To become a member of Robin's Tribe or find out about guest and sponsor opportunities, call 214-226-3770. For DFW home sales information, go to robinmccoyrealty.com. Relax, I Got This, Crushing It with Your Tribe is produced for the OBBM network and available wherever you're listening to podcasts. Unauthorized use of the Relax, I Got This podcast or the OBBM network podcast brands are strictly prohibited. Call 214-714-0495 for permission requests and program information.